stop saying QA owns quality. Honestly, think about that for a second. If you work anywhere near the manufacturing of a critical product, you have probably heard this phrase, well, 1,000 times, right? It's written into corporate handbooks, it gets repeated endlessly in meetings, and it is just deeply embedded in the everyday culture of our work. But what if that simple, totally normalized phrase is actually a massive flaw in how we operate?
Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are going to completely dismantle this traditional, kind of isolated corporate silo mindset. We're going to break down exactly why the old way of thinking is holding us back and how shifting our perspective can basically transform the integrity of the stuff we create. So, Section 1. The Quality Department Myth.
For decades now, organizations have just assumed quality was a box checked by one specific group sitting in a specific office. But we really need to separate governance from creation here. Think about what the quality assurance, or QA, department can actually do. They can establish the systems, they can rigorously review the records, and sure, they have the ultimate authority to approve or reject batches. But you know what they absolutely cannot do? They cannot manufacture quality alone. When a company constantly parrots QA owns quality, they are unintentionally shifting the actual responsibility of building a good product away from the very people physically creating it. QA is the safety net for sure, but they aren't the ones on the floor actually building the thing.
Which brings us to Section 2. Who actually manufactures quality?
If QA is just governing the system, we have to ask who really holds the power out there on the floor. And the answer? It lies in these invisible heroes. Real quality is manufactured by very specific human behaviors. It's the operator who follows the procedure exactly as written, totally refusing to cut corners. It's the engineer who intentionally designs a robust, foolproof process right from day one. It's the microbiologist identifying contamination risks super early before they blow up into a massive headache. It's the analyst in the lab reporting their results with absolute, uncompromising integrity. It is the floor supervisor making that tough call to choose patient safety over insane production pressure. And ultimately, it's the leader who builds an open culture where speaking up about a potential issue is actually encouraged, not punished. Every single one of these individual roles is what actually builds real quality.
Let's move to Section 3, the anatomy of real quality.
Because those individual roles we just talked about, they manifest in continuous, moment-to-moment creations. Real quality is built in every single decision. A momentary choice to double-check a gauge, that fundamentally affects the final product.
It's in every action, the physical movements, the precise measurements, the careful handling of materials. Quality isn't just some passive state, it is a highly active, continuous effort.
It is in every signature. When someone signs off on a manufacturing process, it is not just a bureaucratic formality. It's literal, formal accountability. That's a person putting their name on the line, verifying that the standard was absolutely met.
And it happens every day. Quality doesn't get to take a day off. It is an unyielding commitment that requires the exact same level of hyper-focus on a Friday afternoon as it does on a Monday morning. Every decision, every action, every signature, every single day.
Section 4. What the patient cares about.
So why does all this meticulous, exhausting effort even matter? Well, because at the end of the line, there's an end user whose life literally depends on it. Patients don't care which department made the decision. Let that sit for a beat. When someone is sick, when they're relying on a medical treatment, they are not thinking about your company's internal org chart. They do not care about the friction between production and QA. They are completely 100% blind to your internal processes. The patient's only concern is the tangible result in their hands. They just care that every single tablet they swallow, every vial of medicine, every syringe, or every device they use is safe, effective, and reliable. That's it. That is the only metric that matters to them. If the product fails, the internal finger-pointing about which department dropped the ball, totally irrelevant to the person actually suffering the consequences.
Section 5. A new shared commitment.
This realization really forces us to reconstruct how we work. The flawed mindset is QA owns quality. And as we've seen, that just creates massive blind spots. The better, essential mindset we need to adopt is everyone owns quality. Why? Because there are no neutral players on the floor. Every single employee, no matter what their job title says, has the direct ability to either strengthen the entire quality system or weaken it through their daily actions.
So, let's redefine our core term based on everything we've unpacked in this explainer. Quality is not a department. It is a shared commitment. We all have distinct roles within this ecosystem, right? QA governs the quality system, ensuring the rules and frameworks are actually sound. But it is the people, the operators, the engineers, the analysts who actually create the quality. And finally, it is ownership that sustains it over the long haul.
And that ownership, it isn't some abstract corporate buzzword. It is deeply personal. True ownership begins the exact moment each of us looks at our own role and says, quality starts with me. It's an individual manifesto. It means taking personal pride and absolute responsibility for your specific piece of the puzzle, knowing exactly how it impacts the final patient.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a thought to chew on. Look at your own daily environment. In your organization, how do you encourage ownership of quality beyond the QA department? How do you empower the operator, the microbiologist, the supervisor, to truly feel that they own the outcome? It's a tough question, for sure, but answering it is the very first step toward building a culture where safety, effectiveness, and reliability aren't just goals, they're guarantees. Thanks for joining me to explore this crucial shift in mindset. Keep questioning the norm, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.